Hey guys, Coach Ed Haynes here to talk through the new block for the fitness group. First things first, I'm going to be taking over your programming. Great job to Ant Haynes over the last year. Given the fact that I'm already managing a performance competitors class, we just figured it would make more sense if I could run all three programs, because it would just allow me to make sure I can align the workouts each day to run easily, more easily alongside each other, and to make sure we're keeping cohesiveness and teamwork as a focus of every session. Well done in the CrossFit Open. As you guys know, it's not a priority for the fitness guys and girls to be doing the CrossFit Open. With that said, the scaled competition has meant that people who are fairly new to the sport can actually still partake in it. It's not something that we pushed, but it was great to see so many people taking part, awesome scores, and hopefully it's ignited some motivation for the next year. And that's really what I'm here to talk to you about today. We're about to go into a new 12-week rebuilding block. So basically just to map out how a year looks for a CrossFit or a mixed modal style program is the closer a program gets towards a competition like the CrossFit Open, generally the more craziness we see and the more we deviate away from the structure. That's simply because the requirement of the sport is that we need to expose people to an element of craziness. Now, with that said, the further we get away from a competition schedule is the more time we have to go back to more of a structured format. Structured format really means for us in fitness, getting back to some solid weight training. And weight training doesn't just mean Olympic lifting, it means potentially balancing out right to left, forward to back, single arm, single leg, making sure we're looking after structural ratios from back squat compared to our deadlift, overhead press compared to our vertical pull, just those kind of things. So really we can summarize that. When we look at weightlifting, we typically look at volume and intensity. And typically speaking, if the volume is low, the intensity is high. And when we talk about intensity in the realms of weightlifting, we mean a high intensity exercise will mean that we're pushing heavy loads. So let's say your back squat is 100 kg. If you're back squatting 90% of your 1 rep max, which is about 90 kg, for let's say between 2 to 4 reps, then that would be what we call high intensity in the realms of a back squat. Low intensity, of course, is just the opposite to that. You're working with loads far away from your 1 rep max. So for example, the same 100 kg example, if you were to do a set of 10 reps at 40 kg, that would we would define that as a low intensity back squat set. Generally has no correlation to how it feels in terms of intensity. When we talk about volume, obviously high volume, if you're doing a lot of repetitions, means that the weight you're going to use is going to be lower, and vice versa. If you're doing low volume, the weight you're going to use is going to be higher. Right now, we're in a phase of high volume, low intensity. So that means we're going to do a lot more reps with our weight training, and generally the loads are going to come down a little bit. That's going to allow us to build some foundations and just to rebuild some structural balance and strength endurance. With regards to weightlifting, we can also talk about compound versus isolation. Compound movements are typically big multi-joint exercises. Think of things like the back squat, the deadlift, the overhead press, and the pull-up. When we think about isolation movements, we're looking at kind of isolating a single joint or a single tissue. That can be things like, in the bodybuilders world, bicep curls, leg extensions. In the realms of CrossFitting, we can talk about things like single arm rows, single arm pressing, isometric type work. So in this phase right now, we're going to move towards a combination of compound and isolation work. And as we get closer to a competition season, we'd focus a little bit more on compound stuff. That's the boring sciencey bit out the way. Let's talk about what your priorities are in this next block. We can always define our training really into 4 categories: Olympic lifting, weightlifting or weight training, gymnastics, and then energy system training. And energy system training is just a fancy way of saying conditioning. So your priorities now in the next 12 weeks with your Olympic lifting, we're going to continue to focus on teaching you guys technique and awareness of the clean and different clean variations. So power cleaning, hang power cleaning, full cleans, hang cleans. We're going to move away from touch and go work for a while because that's a little bit more relevant to the sport. And we're just going to really isolate that movement. With regards to weightlifting and weight training, we're definitely going to move towards a single leg or single limb focus. So that includes the upper body as well. We're still going to strive towards developing your upper body pulling and pushing strength. We're going to really look at squatting mechanics and positions. That's why we've been doing a lot of D-ball work, and you continue to see the D-ball squat in there. The D-ball squat allows us to really brace through our midline and maintain a really vertical torso. If we can do more work there and develop more time and attention, it will really transfer to when we go back to the barbell. We also need to really work on developing your overhead awareness, position, as well as endurance. I think overhead positions and squatting positions are two of the foundational movements that we need to address just for normal human performance. So we're going to use this stage now to make sure we really address that. So we're going to do some stuff to help develop and boost your awareness of what a good position actually is. And then it's down to you to make sure that when you train, you move with the intent of hitting those good positions. Gymnastics, we're just going to throw a ton of variance at you guys, but generally speaking, we want to always develop capacity in the push-up and the different variations there, the dip and the different variations there, pull-ups and the different variations there, and horizontal pulling. Of course, within gymnastics comes general body control and midline as well. Energy system training, we're going to move towards a cyclical focus now. So that's things like rowing, running, assault biking, skipping, pushing a sled, pulling a sled versus kind of AMRAPs of a whole bunch of crazy stuff. We're going to move away from that, let the body heal for a little bit, and just go after developing some aerobic or endurance. We're also going to reintroduce, or introduce for the first time on a Saturday, some modified strongman training. This is going to be for fitness, performance, and competitor groups. It's going to be a lot of fun, nothing intimidating about it. It's just basically odd object, carrying, pushing, throwing, pulling. It's going to be a lot of fun, but some great strength work as well. Guys, if you have any questions with regards to the new block or which group you sit within, please feel free to reach out to me personally, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Lastly, guys, you should have received an email already informing you that we're going to be moving away from Wodify, and we're going to be moving to a new system called WODUP. WODUP is a great system that's going to really help us as a coaching team track our athletes' progress. So please follow the instructions on the email. Export as much data from Wodify as possible, and that will be transferred into your WODUP account. Then from there, every workout that we post, we'd really appreciate it if you guys could spend the time inputting all the information from that day's workout so that us as a coaching team, we can review your results and just be way more accurate with our programming.